Now, some of the tools that exist for the fractions, you can see here. If you click on the tool button here, you can see a index of all the tools. You can do fractions, graph, integer, and so on. We're going to concentrate on the fraction tools here. And you can see there are 5 fraction tools: fraction strips, partitioning sets, pattern blocks, pouring containers, and relational rods. And if you click on the fraction strips tool, you'll see that I get a fraction tower here, and I can drag any of these pieces over onto the white surface, and it gives me some information on those pieces. It shows what part of the whole they are. I can actually drag pieces on top of other pieces, and as I mouse over things, I get information about how this is broken up into thirds, and I can actually change that by clicking here along the way, so changing how it's partitioned out, how the whole is partitioned out. Another thing that I can do is I can take this, this has got a little magnet symbol here, and I can actually drag that over, and it connects all those pieces so that I can visually compare each side. And I can continue to add pieces inside on any of the sections, and as I click on that, I can get those sections so that I can see the partitioning as I go there. So this is the fraction strips tool that you might want to use when comparing fractions of different denominators or size. Another one of the tools that exists is the partitioning sets. This is the idea of just breaking sets up into partitions. So for example, here's a set of 10 things. I can change the number of things with this relationship, and I'll add or subtract things, a set of 12 things. And I want to break sets up into, let's say, thirds. Can I make 1/3 of 12 things is how many things? And so kids can guess at this point, and then if you hit go, it's going to actually try to partition the set into thirds, and in this case it can. And I can select any subset, and it gives me a sentence based on that 1/3 of 12 things is 4 things. And then I can redo that set. I can change it so that's 1/4. And if I try to do something that is perhaps cannot be partitioned, so I've got 12 things, and I want to partition these in fifths, so it's going to try to do that. And as it tries to do that, it's going to see that there are 2 extra things here. The set cannot be partitioned into 5 sets of equal size. So that is an activity on partitioning. Patterning blocks here, very simple activity. So this is just a virtual pattern blocks, and I can drag these pattern blocks on here. I can drag them on top of each other, so I can see that, for example, this block is 2/3 of this one. If I click here, there's my selector tool, so I can actually select and drag. And once I have something selected, I can click here to actually rotate it. So I can put it in here. I can drag that there, for example. I can drag another piece, and I can rotate that one. So I unselect and rotate. So I can drag that in there, and drag a third piece. And I'm going to unselect and select and then rotate. So I can do all the things I can do with real pattern blocks, except now with a virtual set. And then I can get rid of pieces by just dragging them into the garbage if I want. So that's the pattern blocks tool. I like this pouring containers tool, which is kind of neat. So as I take this is I can drag this so that it changes the way that the fraction is partitioned, and I can change the level of the liquid in there, so I've got it in thirds. And then once I have that, I can take that and drag that onto my workspace. And so say I have 2 containers with 2/3 in them, I might ask, how much do I have in total? And I can actually virtually pour one into the other to show that I have 1 whole and 1/3 in this case. And so I can do some work with pouring of items into showing thirds, and I can drop these into recycling as well. The last tool is relational rods. And this is sort of a little bit like the fraction tower, but these are now freeform rods, like Kuznir rods, and you'll notice that as I drag those out, I can stick them together, I can put them on top of each other, I can compare to a scale, and if I want, again, I can bring that magnet over and drag that magnet over so that they're all lined up, drag those pieces along, and so now I can do some comparing of piece sizes using my relational rods. And so again, although it's nice for students to have these on their desk if they have physical ones, if you don't have physical ones, you can use virtual ones using these tools.